Hi, my name is Mohini Ufeli. I'm Nigerian. I live in Nigeria, and I'd like to talk to you about my life here for a little bit. And I hope that you take something away, even if it's only a better picture of what life in Lagos can be like for some people. My experience, my story, is just one in more than 170 million. If you've read either of the previous entries, Amaya and I share a story. The whole process of finding your identity in a place other than home, in dealing with race in a place other than home, in consciously loving your country only when you leave it, and learning about your history only when you leave it. And let's just say that I'm taking notes on how I want to raise my children and what I want them to know growing up. But I want to talk about after that, after all that growth and discovery, coming back to the place that started it all. So bear with me. I'll try not to make this too long or convoluted. Explaining life is not easy. Being back, I'm learning to accept Nigerians and to accept even more deeply that I'm Nigerian and that I have a right to claim that identity, whether or not I speak a language. And some people here have this assumption that if you don't speak a language, you're not Nigerian. Of course, I think that's absolute BS. But, that's a rant for another day. So, I graduated from college, moved to New York, the city love of my life. Was supposed to start grad school there. I deferred it for a year, came back home. Now I'm working, making some money, paying off college loans, and just living. Bonding with my parents now that I'm a more sensible adult who can pay bills and have intelligent conversation. Falling in love with my niece and nephew. In all, I'm in the place of trying to figure out my space in the world, starting with where I am now, because I believe that my gifts are meant to be used for the good of more than just me. But back to Nigeria, I'm just living here. I think that my journey to work, fondly titled One Keke, Two Buses, encapsulates much of the fears and insecurities and realizations that I felt being back. And it's a highlight of my stay here. Sometimes it feels like everything. So, my journey each day starts with a walk. I live in Lekki, so I walk to the junction, take a keke out to the roundabout. Keke is one of those three-wheeled tricycle contraptions, in case you haven't seen one yet. And this is usually the most peaceful part of my journey. So there's something about riding in an open-air vehicle about 7:30 a.m. It's still cool, it's not too bright, the sun isn't out. And again, the wind is just whipping through, and it's like, oh, peace and breeze. And so for the 30 seconds that ride lasts is pretty peaceful. And then I get to the roundabout, I stand at the bus stop, I miss like 20 people, and I'm usually stared at because, I might have some Timberland boots and ripped jeans and pink hair. Yeah, so I wait for a bus to Abalande, then I get on, and I'm good for another 20 to 30 minutes. It could get hot if I'm not near the window, if we're in traffic. Hopefully everyone had a shower that morning. Otherwise, whatever t-shirts I'm wearing is like done for the day. And then I get to Abalande, walk to switch buses to Yaba, and I wait for the bus to fill up. Then, off I go on this shorter last leg of my journey to work. And this one's also pretty peaceful. We get to go on Third Mainland Bridge over the water for a little bit. There's more wind, hopefully it's quiet if no one is having a phone conversation loud enough for the whole bus to hear, as my people like to do. And then after getting into Yaba, down Harbour Macaulay, and then I'm at work, and then work starts, and that's a story for another day again. And so, as I make this journey every day, I try to challenge myself to not get used to it. To see it with new eyes and to not be numb to the conditions of daily life in Nigeria, which is why I'm glad that I studied abroad, because I think that I could have been pretty apathetic if I'd stayed. Because I feel like if you're numb to what's wrong, then you're no longer looking at the situation and recognizing the problems to solve. And if you're not, then you can just become complacent and just be in the cycle of living and not doing anything to change anything. And so, for me, looking at my days through photographs helps me see things anew every time. But in summary, I think that this journey summarizes my life here in Nigeria. I mean, there are the parts that are just peaceful, that allow for reflection and deeper thinking and realizations. And then there's the part where I feel odd, and I'm still trying to figure out how I fit into this larger picture of Nigerian hustledom, and that's the random stairs. And then there are the insecurities of not fitting in again, like, can I raise my voice and ask for my change? Like, will the bus conductor understand me through my accent? Like, I'm shy. Well, I was shy to call for my own bus stop. That's in the past, like I call like a boss now. And that's the result of going to school elsewhere and growing up with a non-Nigerian accent. And I remember one day I was actually wondering, do I want to lose some of my polish so that I can fit in better with a common man? So that people won't look at me and wonder, where's this one from? But I've decided that it's probably not wise for me to wish that my life had been harder so that I can look like I've been through life. I mean, I like to think that God gave me the path that he put me on because he intended for me to do something with it. So back to my journey. And then there are also the moments of camaraderie where, for instance, the bus driver is speeding stupidly, and everybody's like, "Ew," it's like, please no, we're just trying to get to where we're trying to go in one piece, and there's that general collective feeling of, please, we're all concerned with our safety here, and there's that bond, I guess, in that 5 seconds of collectively feeling the same emotion. So it's kind of cool. There are the moments of understanding along the ride where one can appreciate, the brotherhood of drivers and conductors, and how conductors are like Santa's little helper elves. And if a bus driver doesn't have his conductor, life is generally quite a bit harder. And there's just these little ecosystems that I don't generally think about until I've experienced them or the effects of them, even for 2 hours a day. And so in that way, this journey is helping me connect with where I am. Like, what's the difference between me seeing my friends in the streets in New York and we hail each other, and then the bus drivers seeing another bus driver in traffic and they're hailing each other across lanes? Like, everyone's got family like that, and it's actually kind of beautiful to witness, really. And so my journey really lets me see that common thread between people. All this to say that life in Nigeria, as it is anywhere else really, is multicolored. There's a variety of experiences to be had, and my daily commute provides me the opportunity to experience more than I could have from the backseat of an Uber. And I can have these lives that overlap in places. For a moment, we people all share that hot, sweaty bus ride. And, it allows me to see more. And as a photographer, seeing more clearly is always a good thing. And I don't know yet what I will do with this expanded vision. But it's all adding to the picture of me understanding who I am, where I am, who the people are, what the problems are, how I fit in. And it's an interesting journey, and I'm open to it. Yeah.